It's a Monday. That means time for pattern predictions. A look out to the next 2 weeks. And in this case, pretty much the first half of July. By the way, we've got a monthly forecast for July coming out tomorrow because it'll be the first weekday of the month, right? In terms of the 14-day, if you just want the numbers, the straight-up forecast, that's what our app's for. Grab it. 1 degree outside weather on the App Store and Google Play, and it'll be there waiting for you for free. It's got 5 stars. Everybody seems to be loving it, which is wonderful. We're so happy you do. Okay, one thing I usually start out with in pattern predictions, not every time, but a lot, is 500 millibar heights. If you're brand new to this video, let me make it quick and simple. What it is basically how high up in the sky you have to go before your barometer would say 500 millibars, which is a pretty low pressure. In other words, what you can do is you can kind of estimate average temperature through a deep layer of the atmosphere. Higher heights, warmer average temperature. So we've done that with the coloring that you see here, lower heights, colder average temperature, and the black lines kind of representing various levels of height along the way. Why do we do that? Well, because it allows you to see a couple of things. 1, you get to see these big pools of cold like we have up near the North Pole. 2, you get to see the big domes of heat like we have developing over the central Atlantic. And 3, you get to see the interaction between the two. And that's what becomes really important, particularly in the forecast over the next 2 weeks. We've got a large pool of colder air over Alaska that shapes up here as we get to the end of this week and beginning of next week. That's an upper level storm, an upper level low. And what it does, it allows for a dip or a trough in the jet stream. The way the atmosphere works is in waves. Short waves and long waves. The long waves are ones like this. Big dip down should mean a rise up in the western United States, what we call a ridge. It will. That'll be the tendency, which therefore should mean equal and opposite reaction. What do you get? A dip or a trough in the northeast. This would allow incursions of cool air in between spells of warmth and multiple disturbances to come into play as well. Notice it's not a real deep trough, but it is kind of a broad one that sits with us all the way out through not just this weekend, next weekend, and much of the first half of the month. One thing I'll say, you do have a lot of heat that starts to build across parts of the central and southern United States. We're not into that, but every time you get a break between disturbances, you've got a chance to open the door to that heat. And that's the type of thing that probably is going to happen in the early part of next week. The other side of that, though, is that if you keep a trough, a dip in the jet stream over you, you keep bringing in these cool disturbances. And that oftentimes will at least breed thunderstorms. So when you look at the forecast, at first say, my goodness, this forecast looks like it stinks. And that can happen with a trough. You can get a stinky forecast with showers all the time. I don't think it's as bad as it looks in this particular instance. As we get later in this week, the chance of thunderstorms rises with warmth and humidity for a bit. Then as it drops, as we get into, let's say, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's at least some upper level energy still around, so some scattered showers will probably develop. A lot of these, though, with the exception of maybe the thunderstorm day on Tuesday we've been covering in Insights, may actually be diurnally driven, meaning they happen during the day. The heating of the day allows them to bubble up. And that's why I'm not overly worried about fireworks time on many nights. There may be some that pose some problems, and we're covering that in Insights for you. So I'll reference you to that because we're supposed to keep that eye on the 2-week pattern here, and I want to make sure I do it for you. Notice over the course of the next week and a half, you add up the rain. The yellow is where you start to get 2 inches of rain. But again, that's from thunderstorm or shower events that happen every few days when those disturbances drop in. In terms of the surface temperature, well, as we get out to the holiday, you've got actually a little cool corner of the country here at home. As we get to the end of the upcoming weekend, the end of the holiday weekend, though, here comes the heat again. So we reverse it big time by Sunday. Early next week, there's heat and humidity that's in place. That may get beaten down when a cold front comes through. And notice by the time we get to the end of the period, just kind of this big, broad brush of 80s and 90s across the country. This is pretty near normal for us. It may be warmer than normal for some, but we will likely kind of average out near normal in the latter part of the 2-week period, which is what you see here. The first climb in heat and humidity gets knocked down as we head to the holiday. The upper level energy that may be around for some scattered diurnally driven showers. Then you get that heat to come back Sunday, Monday, and another cold front, but you kind of level out very near to where we should be by the time you get to that whole second half of the 2-week period. So many of you love the 14-day dew point forecast. Well, here it is. There's the spike that comes Tuesday, and then a much more comfortable air, even if there are scattered daytime showers on Friday, which again would be scattered. And then you build it up again when the heat comes in toward the end of the weekend and early next week as well. And as you might imagine, the low temperatures at night dance around with the dew point. Dew point temperature oftentimes dictates how cool the air will get or not get, depending on how much moisture is in the air. Just a reminder, if you do love that 14-day dew point, we offer it now. You can get it every single day as a Fuel the Forecast member. Inside Track opens the door to our podcasts and live streams ahead of storms, 1 degree outside enthusiasts, golf, boating, You're going to love it. We've got discussions and also dozens of maps for each of them each time. A reminder also, grab the app. You can find all of our video updates at the top of the home screen. And, of course, everything you need to track the weather nationwide and internationally, too. That's how it looks for now. Look forward to seeing you again later on at onedegreeoutside.com and atop the app.